Hey, my name is Lindsey Mountain Jr., and I have something really, really cool I gotta tell you. I got the chance to interview Swoop.
That's right, you heard me correctly. Swoop, the 15-year vet, inarguably the GOAT in CHH, dopest pen game around, very accomplished artist, Grammy nominated, accomplished producer, played keys behind some of today's most popular CHH artists. He's been a part of We Live as Kings and High Society. He's an Akron native, husband, father. He is your rapper's favorite rapper, and he goes by
Swoop. All right, so in this interview, you get to see me ask questions to Swoop. Super amazing person. I've been a fan of this guy since 2012, and I just straight fangirl. You know, you watch interviews, everybody's professional, not your boy. I just fangirl out. I don't care. You can put in the comments, man, you should have been more professional. I don't care. Miss me with that. This is somebody that has had a big influence on my life, and I wanted him to know. And not only did I want him to know, I wanted to share it with everybody, including you. So please watch this video.
Sweet. How you doing?
You know, I'm all right for a black man in America. How are you?
Well, I'm good. I'm real good. Good.
Yeah,
man.
I appreciate you, the grace and communication and all the back and forth, but we finally connected.
I know, right? Listen, I appreciate you. You the one doing all this. I appreciate you giving me time of day. So
yeah, man.
Your album's amazing. I don't know if you knew that or not.
You know, man, this is the second time I could say, yeah, I knew about a year ago. It was really good. I didn't think it would have the impact that it's having.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I think with each album, I'm learning different things.
Mm-hmm.
And with this one, I learned how to be succinct. I'm not a succinct talker at all. I'm not a succinct communicator.
Yeah.
So that you can keep going. I knew this one was good before we put it out. I didn't know it was going to impact this way, though.
One of my good friends, he had the same sentiment of me, which was like, he's like, okay, I was listening to his catalog, and his catalog is really good. So he said, I don't know why I was expecting something super hype. He said, but bro, this was so deep. And I said, it was. And like, you know, when trying to plan this, I had like all these different questions. I was trying to narrow it down. I guess I should run it back because I want to let you talk. But like, I first came onto the scene of you, or became aware of you, in 2012. All right. So if you go back, I was working at a hospital in Virginia, in a cubicle, needed some new music, and I can't remember who I was listening to on YouTube. And you know, YouTube always does the recommend stuff. Well, there is this Rapzilla freestyle that you did, using a red hat, a white tee,
white t-shirt with the
and I was like, the name caught me. I was like, Swoop. Oh, okay, let me check it out. And sir, I listened to that freestyle about 6 to 10 times. And I was like, who is this guy? And it had to have been the Lord, because like shortly after that you put out Wake Up.
Yes.
So I found Wake Up and Dream. I loved it, but when I got to Dream Slave, I was hooked.
Yeah.
I was hooked.
Yeah,
I was like, Lord, I don't know who this guy is, but right now you protect him and cover him by all means, because this dude has he spoke to me. And like each album that you put out, and I know you probably hear this all the time, but like for real, like it's each album you've put out, it's been very pivotal, especially this one. We lost my father-in-law last year in October. And so like, even though he wasn't my direct dad, but one thing you said in an interview, I can't remember, but you talked about how like even with your dad, still there was a emotional disconnect. And like with my dad, there's that. But with my wife's dad, there wasn't. Like me and him, we connected emotionally. I mean, it was just what my dad wasn't, her dad was. So when he passed, like it definitely hit. And with this album, so before we get into all the questions, I got to tell you, thank you for that.
Man, so bless you, bro. That was fun time in life that, I got signed in 2010. I put my first album out in 2008, the year I got
Mm-hmm.
married, as a favor to my pastor. Like I'm a musician, so
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
rapping just came randomly. And so did a rap career. So I'm not going down the whole rabbit hole, but that
Yeah.
time in life was interesting because it was just an explosion, an unknown explosion.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, high society, wake up, um, applause, and a lot of the front end of We Live as Kings it was all written at the same time. And I didn't know.
Yeah.
It was just like all of my favorite musicians and the musicians that I've become is like, I don't really
Mm-hmm.
care about anything more than I care about the way it makes you feel. Um,
Oh,
so I may not be the most pristine, I may not be the most X, Y, and Z, but I'm gonna touch your heart. And it all just felt good. So I don't even remember being strategic at that point. It was just
yeah.
like here, 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 So the fact that it was landing in that way is like a grace of the Lord for real. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think the connection between you and your father-in-law, one of the scriptures I've been ruminating on in my life as, I'm walking through some things in real time is that the Lord sets the lonely in families.
Yeah.
So kind of like, man, you may not have that connection with your dad, but I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
give it to you. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give it to you through this man. So yeah, bless y'all as y'all walk through that, man. Bless y'all.
Hey man, I appreciate it. Um, there was like several songs.
Yeah.
And I was like, we don't have a whole plethora of time because I ain't gonna keep you. I ain't gonna hold you,
Do
sir.
your thing, man. Do your thing.
But right out the gate, like I said, like with me and my friends, we were talking about like it wasn't what we expected. However, like it was better. Um, so like, what would you say? Because I'm not you, but like there's a few obvious things, but like this particular album, what would you say sets it apart out of the rest of your albums in your catalog?
Initially the genesis of how it was created. In that
Okay.
it wasn't so the zoo,
Mm-hmm.
wake up, and 24. Those
Okay.
were like, oh man, I'm writing these things and they become an album. Cinema was all right, Swoop, you've been working on all of this collision stuff. It's time for you to put an album out. So I had a deadline with Cinema that I've never had before.
Gotcha.
And then Sunshine came from Sunshine was 18, yes. Sunshine came from a very dark period of my life in 15 and 16. And 17, the therapeutic nature was just writing it, but I never wanted it to come out. Natalie heard it and was like, this is definitely coming out. So this one, however, all four of those, however many I counted, it started with me, whether
Mm-hmm.
intentionally or unintentionally. It was Swoop. This one automatically sets itself apart because it starts with Jono. It does not start with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
It starts with Jono's book in 2022. I said
Mm-hmm.
that wrong in a promo. 2022, and him building this We Go On world. So it's going to be the book, the tour, short
Mm-hmm.
film. They've got some. He's got some other really cool things planned with it. But then he was like, "Man, I want to add a music arm. So can you write a soundtrack to the book, sort of?" And just off rip, before we even get to the actual music, that request and that partnership automatically sets it apart from everything else I've ever done. And yeah, the music is the music, which I'm sure we'll get into, but just the request itself was
Yeah.
totally different than anything I've done before.
Yeah. How long have you had you known John O?
Oh, bro, it's been those relationships where you can't even count.
Yeah.
He's one of those, and his brother who passed that he wrote the
Yeah.
book about. I was super cool with Samo as well, so it's been
Gotcha.
a minute, man. John's always been a friend, still a friend, and there was a period of time where he was my pastor. So the connection and collaboration was very easy, very fluid. I didn't have to get to know nobody. I had already read the book, in that, my mother passed in 2020, and me kindly becoming a human being late 2021. It was just a year of haze.
Gotcha.
And then coming out of that haze, reading the book and him saying, yo, you know what I'm saying? So it was very fluid, very easy because we had known each other for so long.
That's what's up. Well, I mean, it was right on time. You got a song on the album. It's called Chasing Ghost.
Yeah.
And when I first seen it, I'm like, now I listened to the whole album on the way to work, which was a mistake because like I'm going to work and you know how it is, it's that early in the morning. You're supposed to be like getting hyped and all this, bro. About 5 minutes out from our office, I'm like crying, sobbing, thanking the Lord, thanking Jesus, talking about how beautiful I'm just worshiping. And now, like when I park the truck, I gotta like, take my sleeves and wipe my face, so nobody knows. Like, man, what's wrong with this man? He is like,
yeah, man. Yeah,
I was like, what did I do? But that song Chasing Ghost, there's a line in it that I wrote down, but I'm just gonna let you explain like what I guess I hate to say what's it about or anything like that, but if you can I guess kind of contextualize the song, how would you explain that?
Yeah. The John's book, because I do want to continue to make sure that focus is on John and I. In that it is a joint album. I convinced him to let me put it out as a SWOOPE album, because of the sonic content, where it's like people are going to hear this and it's very clearly a SWOOPE album. But then also I didn't want to fight against the algorithm of like a new artist, because John O is a new music artist. So all of that. But the We Go On book is really about not just grief, but the book of Ecclesiastes at large. And one of the themes in there is certain pursuits are chasing the wind, just very asinine and futile and empty. Like you're going to work and work and work and work, and you can't catch the wind. And because I had lines on other songs, there's a line on Work Real Hard where I said, I'm chasing windy nightmares down my street. I'm Jason. So the pop in that line is Jason, Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger, all of that sort of stuff. But the heart of it is chasing windy nightmares, chasing the wind. So with Chasing Ghosts, I wanted to say the same thing, but not say the same thing.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? So try to pull more out of that than just this one line. The foundation of Chasing Ghosts is the teacher in Ecclesiastes saying like, yo, these futile pursuits are chasing the wind. So that's where that came from.
I'm glad that you taught that, because I'd read John O's book when I seen in the promos and stuff how these are going to be connected. So because when he compared when he broke down or debunked the misconception of death not being a torturer but being a teacher, I was like, wait a minute. And then you actually echoed that in Chasing Ghosts and throughout the rest of the album. Like when he, at first I was like, wait, what? Huh? And like, it's almost self-explanatory, but I get it. And it's crazy, it's wild. And it's with this album and with the book, like I've had to reopen Ecclesiastes and kind of do chapter by chapter and just see like, okay, let's have a relook at this. Let's see. And then look with not just the death of my father-in-law or any death of any loved ones, but one things I like about this album, you talk about how, yes, there's grieving over death of a loved one, family, friend, or whatever, but then you also talk about grieving the death of the life that we dreamed of having. And when you went down that road, I was like, oh, that, can you explain a little bit of that?
Yeah, man, I think most people feel that, if not all. There's a Jim Carrey quote that's like, man, I wish everybody could get everything that they ever wanted so they can realize it's not enough.
Yeah.
This is Jim Carrey. Like, Jim Carrey is not poor.
Yeah.
The highest suicide rate is amongst the wealthy.
Yeah.
So I think there's a level of discontentment that we all deal with. Like, not like, oh, I've reached this pinnacle in life and I got everything I wanted, money or whatever, because I think money is the easiest thing to talk about. And now
Yeah.
I am content. I'm like, it's like, no, in Ecclesiastes, the Lord has set eternity in the hearts of men. So in every human being that's ever been born, there is an eternity shaped hole that cannot be filled until you reach eternity. So you're never going to be fully content. So I think mourning the life you thought you were going to have, you wish you had, it's just a primal human emotion from a macro level. But from a micro level, like Swoop, bro, I'm disappointed often. I'm reaching different levels of contentment, but it's like, man, I wish, I wish this would have popped. I wish they would have heard this. I wish I was on this stage. I wish, X, Y, and Z. And just trying to articulate that honestly, it really hit home with folks, bro. Like, in a way that I didn't know. For me, these are therapeutic bars once again. That are like, they're my story. But one of my mentors a long time ago said, the biggest compliment to your music is not going to be it sounds good. The biggest compliment to your music is somebody saying, me too. I feel that way too. Because you have found a way to take your experience and make it our experience. So yeah, bro, I think it touches because it's human. It's not just personal, it's universal.
Wow. I gotta give you some more flowers. In the song "Hold On," all right, you got a line in there. When I heard it, I had to run it back. There's a line where you say, "What is it? Oh, I don't know if I'm the thief on the left or the faith on the right, but you hang in between when I grieve." And I was like, after replaying it, I just paused and I didn't play anymore. I just sat with that for a minute. I was like. How,
bro,
how did you come up with that?
That's from that. So Hold On is two parts.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, this is really kind of a lot of the album. A large chunk of the album was written in 2021.
Okay.
In that first portion, the hook, the verse, and the beat, that's all from 2021. The second portion is a 2022 or 23 beat, but the verse is from 2017.
Really?
Yeah, I had a monster song with. I'm gonna go ahead and put this out there. I pride myself on, if I'm on a song with a rapper, I'm going balls to the wall, bro. Like,
you do.
I'm trying to murder you, like, just in the competition spirit of the sport, right?
Yeah.
There's only a couple times when I can be like, I held my own, but they got me. One of them is Dream Slave.
Yeah.
Keyshawn Burgundy's verse on that song is perfect. Like, technically perfect. The cadence is perfect. His tone of voice, all those sort of things. This song with Belief smashed me, bro. Smashed. I had a sample on it that I couldn't clear, so the song never came out. And then he texted me, I think in 2021, to be like, no, 2022. Yo, I just in case you were ever going to put this out, I took this verse and put it on another song. So now I got this fire verse that's just sitting,
Yeah.
And as I'm trying to come up with transitions for We Go On, I'm like, yo, I think this would be really nice here. So the sentiment of, don't know if I'm the thief on the left or the faith or the right, but you're hanging in between. And it wasn't when I grieve. I changed that for We Go On. Oh, I just say in between twice. On the 2017 verse, don't know if I'm the thief on the left or the faith or the right, but you hanging in between. Can you fix it now?
Gotcha.
It really hammers home the sentiment of whether I am fully functioning in faith, like Lord, I believe, or
Mm-hmm.
whether I'm fully functioning in sin, with
Yeah.
theft, X, Y, and Z, but even doubt on the other side,
Yeah.
you're there. Like you're with me, you're there, you're present, and you're not just present, you are beside me. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like if I'm on the right, I can look to my left. If I'm in faith, I can look to my left and you're right there. If I'm in something else and I'm on the left, I can look to my right and you're right there. So the sentiment is really just the Lord's presence always
Yeah.
being with us. Yeah.
That's I mean, David said it best. I mean, that's Psalms straight up. Uh
Straight up, bro. Straight up. So, I mean, David, I was talking with Craig yesterday and we were ruminating on Romans 8:38. Like, there's nothing that can separate us from the love of the Lord. Like, and those are
yeah.
Paul's words, but there's this consistent, or I not Isaiah, Joshua, like, I will be with you. Jesus saying
Yeah.
through the end of the age, it's a consistent theme that we need reminders, bro. Like, he's
Yeah.
there, so that line was just hitting at that.
Bruh. I one of the things I loved about it was, and this whole album, it's not cliche. There's nothing cliche, but your music has never been cliche. So let me get that out there too. And if anybody says anything, like, send them, bro. Like, there's
Yeah.
nothing cliche about you, which that's what I love. And if that wasn't enough, you reminded everyone too with the song "These Tears." Literally, you come right out the gate, and bro, when you came right out the gate, I paused it. I was in my truck. I paused it, and I was like, "No, he didn't. No, he didn't. No, this guy didn't." But literally, you said,
Don't give me cliches when I'm
"Yep, don't
questioning
give me
God.
cliche when I'm questioning God, and don't give me
Sure.
easy answers when the questions are hard." And it's sad because, like, in the faith community, we are great at cliches. Why do you think that is?
Fear.
Mm,
It is really hard to get to, even if I just take this scenario, it's really hard to get to the sobriety of, man, I'm getting choked up. I'm not going to see my mom again. Like over here, like
yeah,
that is a, and I mean, my mom was my girl, bro. So that is
yeah,
a very sobering thought, and it's easier to just cliche it away, like, oh, but God is good. It's like, yeah, he good. I'm also not gonna see her again, so I don't want to distract myself from an actual reality.
yeah,
And I also think it is scary to deal in gray, to deal in hardship, to deal in pain.
yeah,
So it's just easier to cliche it away. It's easier to, quote it away. And it's like, nah, again, like I said, feel. Like my art is about feeling.
hmm,
And I can have all the cliches in the world. I still really missed my mom, which is a feeling, which is an emotion. And I'm just
yeah,
like, man, it gets old and kind of annoying to
yeah,
distract from what's actually going on. So it's like, hey, that was more so to the community. Like, please don't give me cliches.
yeah,
And I am questioning God at this moment.
yeah,
Like, you know, and the questions are very hard, and hard questions deserve and merit hard answers. So don't give me easy answers when the questions they're very difficult. So it can't be
yeah,
a quick fix answer when it's like, no, this is a paradigm, life perspective, reality shifting event. It can't just be oh, God is good. It can't be that,
yeah.
so.
What would be, and you kind of touched on it, but what would be your advice for us to not settle with the cliche? Like, how do we be that transparent? How do we do that?
Um, Advice, maybe not perspective, maybe I can offer in that.
Okay.
Um, man, I'm walking through something right now in real time that I've been telling my homies. I don't feel it right now. I know it right now, but I don't feel it right now. But on the other side of this, I'm aware that I'm going to believe in the Lord deeper than I ever have in my life. And
That's good.
if he is that big and that beautiful and that gracious and that, I never get to experience that by hiding from the hard portions. I talked to my wife this morning and it was like, I wonder why the Lord chose pain as the means to salvation. Like, why didn't he just say, all right, you're saved? It was like, no, Christ had to go to the cross. So I think the perspective of, we see Christ and we see the cross and we see the gospel and salvation as beautiful because we know what it cost. And it cannot be that beautiful without paying that high of a price. So I think the perspective is, in order for God to be that big and that beautiful, there is a tougher path that you have to walk through to get to that. And if you want him to be that for you, that path is a prerequisite. If he needs to stay in this box for you, and it's like, man, I'm okay with a 75% God, then it's like, okay, this path of pain is still going to come your way, as Ecclesiastes says. But you can try to cliche it away. I think the perspective is, for God to be big, that path is going to be difficult to get there at times. So I don't necessarily have advice. It's just kind of like, no, I want a big God. And if the prerequisite to get to that big God is a hard path, I'll take it.
Wow. Well, I hate that you've had to walk through the path of what it took to, and even same for John, because the book is phenomenal and the album is phenomenal. Like, do you have any, I guess every artist has goals for their work. So I guess, like, do you have any for this project? Have you seen any already kind of come to fruition or anything like that? Or
Yeah, I think the goal has been hit already. Like I said, man, because this project has been so long in the works, even before it was We Go On. You know what I'm saying? That verse from Hold On is from 7 years ago.
yeah,
A lot of the songs I could list them are from 2021. The project has been in the works for a while, even before John O said, hey. So I think the goal of making art that I'm proud of was reached. That goal was reached before it ever released. But
yeah,
now the resonance, bro. I don't know where it will go, because there's not a Hall of Fame or a put in work on this album
yeah,
to go get synced, somewhere to drive the streams up or getting a commercial with Giannis. That's
yeah,
not on the album. So I don't know if it'll continue to go this way. I've
yeah.
never had an album stream this fast, ever. Ever. Yeah, like, it's been a week and we're touching 500,000 on Spotify.
Yeah,
And it's usually a slow burn. Like,
yeah,
hey, you heard Swoop got an album out? Oh, I'm gonna check it out. And a few weeks later, it's like, oh wow, this is really good. This time it was like day one, boom. And I think a lot of
yeah,
that actually had to do with the album getting pushed back.
mm,
In that it made a bigger splash. So I was disappointed.
yeah,
I was frustrated. But I think yeah, I'll say it. I think we love scandal. We
yeah,
love, juicy stuff, and
uh-huh,
it's like, oh, what
yeah,
happened? Why, and I think it made a big, exactly. I think it made a bigger splash. So my goals have really already been met, man. I said it and I'll land this plane here. I said it in one of the BTS videos on my IG. My favorite, and Kanye is my guy as an
yeah,
artist. um, my favorite Kanye line is, the drama, people suing me, I'm on TV talking like it's just you and me. And I'm like, oh, that's how I want to make art. I want to make art that's like, I'm having a conversation with you in your living room. That's what I wanted to make. And the resonance
yeah,
that has happened with We Go On is like, mission accomplished. Like, people are sending some very, very deep, heartfelt messages that it's like, this is not the regular, like, yo, this crazy, bro, these bars. It's like, man, I'm weeping. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? I just lost my whoever yesterday or last month or 10 years ago, and I didn't know that I hadn't been grieved, like all that sort of stuff. It's like, oh, this is hitting in a whole different way. And it is like I'm
yeah,
on TV talking like it's just you and me. So I think my goals have
yeah.
already been met. Yeah.
That's what's up. Um, on the song "We Go On," there's a little ad lib, like a sample ad lib towards the end. Now,
Yeah.
because I grew up on old school gospel, it sounded like John P. Key. He has a song called "Traded," but I don't think that was it because I was googling it. But like when John O was talking towards the end, you could kind of hear it just a little bit, and I was like, man, I know that's not traded from John P. Key because if it is, that's a deep cut. But okay,
I'm trying to think.
okay,
When John O
where
comes in on We Go On,
where
there's
where it says I traded my life for the sunshine. I think that's what that's what at least the sample sounded like.
okay. Wow, man, you got ears, bro.
Well, I'm a musician too, so like
Oh, there it is. There it is.
yeah,
What you play?
play drums, keys, organ, and bass. And I started keys at 15 just to help out my dad because their church musician had up and left, and at the time they couldn't afford a budget. So like I was like, all right, let me just learn. And long story short, prayed and like spent the whole summer digging and digging and digging. And I've been blessed. It's allowed us to live and profit off that. 3 different states, playing for churches, head musicians, all that stuff. So and now like even as lead pastor of the church that we've replanted, still Sunday morning playing keys. So when you have that bar, I talked about it on social media, but when you have that bar on the Sunshine album, been moving 88 keys since 15, I'm like, me too. Me too. I told my wife, I was like, he's talking about me.
Yeah,
He's talking about me. And of course, she's like, oh my God, no, he's not. I was like, he's talking about me.
Yeah, man. Selfishly, I was really proud of that line. Even the like the extension of it, where you could catch me with the bands where the choir sings. It's like, oh, these are drug references for sure, which makes a different connection with hip hop. But I'm like, no, I'm talking about my life. So, what you hear is actually me singing, and I pitched it up, and the words are, "I waited my life for the sunshine."
Gotcha.
So close, but I'm like, oh, he got ears. Yeah,
close. Like I like pushed it back, and I'm like, man, it's like, no, it's not, but it's close. And just because that's one of my favorite deep cuts by John P. Key is Traded. So that's probably, my heart was just kind of selfishly like, oh, like here's another thing we could connect on.
Right.
So,
which John P. Key album is that on?
Colorblind. It came out in 94, I think.
Way back. Okay.
Yeah. Like everybody likes the popular stuff, and I do. I mean, I love all of it, but still, like I'm more of a deep cut guy. I wanna find the stuff that not everybody. So. But I love that you added that.
Go back and check that one out.
Please do.
I remember the Colorblind album, but that song isn't ringing a bell in my head.
Yeah, it's featuring Rants, so which. Nod to your Sunshine album when you had the Rants bar. So
yep.
I pay attention. Clearly.
I love it.
But listen, don't let me hold you. Let me one of my pastor buddies in Daytona Beach, his name is Byron Caudill. He has a podcast. And he always does this. And I always said, like, if I ever interview somebody, I would do, like, just some quick rapid-fire questions. So I got like 5 rapid-fire, whatever comes to your mind. No, there's no shade, no judgment. It is what it is. We won't talk about NBA teams just because we're friends. I want to stay like that. I want to stay like that. Listen,
know where I'm at with it. You already know where
I'm at. Believe it or not, my mom sides with you. So just there you go. She sides with your NBA love. So we'll just, but all right. Number 1 favorite 90s gospel song, or a 90s gospel song that's probably one of your favorites.
That's impossible. I was Hezekiah Walker stan, still am. So I would go. Anyway, you bless me, I'll be satisfied. Second Chance.
By commission?
No. Hezzy still. His wife at the time is singing the lead on that one.
Gotcha.
Show me all of my wrong, forgive me and make me strong, save me, restore my soul because you're the God of a second chance. I'll go I'll Be Satisfied or Second Chance by Hezekiah Walker.
Okay. All right. Now, when it comes to cuisine, Chinese or Mexican?
Mexican, easy. Like no
Go-to snack,
question.
especially where
Gushers.
you're on the road. Gusher, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like fruit snack and candy at the same time.
Makes sense. Do you got a comfort show or movie?
Movie is The Wood. Comfort, any of the top 5, Cosby, Fresh Prince, Jamie Foxx, Living Single, like that era, you know.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Last. All right. I'm not. Growing up, I was a big gamer. Now, not. I got kids, work, church. It's just hard to get into games. But if what you got to pick one. All right. You got NBA Jam, NBA Street 2, or NBA 2K. What you going
NBA
with?
Jam, no question. Like, I spent hours on NBA Jam on my Super Nintendo as a kid, so no question. My sons are in the 2K on their PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
It's so like it's a skill now. Like it's like the fun element is there, but the fun element comes after you learn the skill.
Yeah.
Whereas NBA Jam was like, hey, here's your 4 buttons and the D-pad. Go for it. Yeah. So NBA Jam, no question.
That's what's up. Man, I ain't gonna hold you. I cannot say enough how grateful I am for you for doing this. So
yeah, man, same, bro. I just in case this goes up anywhere, I appreciate you for your patience and long suffering, and even support that did not need accolade. Like, it wasn't like you and I had a conversation like, yo, bro, can you do a countdown to the album?
yeah,
You know, you were doing that on your own.
Yeah.
Then the album gets pushed back, and I was supposed to. I had a whole nother plan for you. Like, oh, we're gonna do this going up to January 12th. I told you about that. That didn't work out. I was supposed to send you the album early. Forgot to do that. So even you still being like, yo, let's get on the horn. Is like, man, there's patience, there's kindness, there's long suffering. There is very evident fruits of the spirit, even in this conversation, bro. Thank you for real.
Hey man, that means a lot. Sweet. So, but I appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it.
Man.
So
I appreciate you, bro. Big time.
Yeah, I'll definitely send you a link when I put this up. So all right.
God bless, man. I'll be remiss not to see you got some heat on the wall back there, and I think the easiest two is to point out Prince and Lauryn Hill. That Commodore is a sleeper over there.
What you know about the Commodore, sir?
Come on, man.
Listen, that 45 back there, that's one of my favorite. It was a present for my wife. It's Change Gonna Come by Sam Cooke.
Mm-hmm.
She found it in an antique store for $2, and we put it side by side with my dad's one of his Temptation albums.
Yeah.
And like he listened to it and he's like, no scratches, no skips as far as that 45. And he's like, man, this is like, it sounds like it was just cut. And I was like, hey, Pops, you want to trade? Nah, he wasn't letting go of his collection.
No, you got some heat back there, bro. You got some heat.
I try. Well, any artist I like, I try to look and see who their inspiration is. And even with PJ Morton, I'm a big PJ Morton fan. And some of his inspiration is Bee Gees. So I went and looked up the Bee Gees, and bro, I was like, who is this? And same with Chicago, same with James Taylor, bro. Like James Taylor with the songwriting skill, unmatched.
So just a little. I've always been a James Taylor fan. One of my mother's favorite songs was Fire and Rain.
Yeah.
Check out his brother, Livingston Taylor.
Really? Okay. You got a song specifically that I need to go to? Or just any?
There I'll Be is a good one. I'm hearing a lyric. There's a joint with Take 6 on there that's crazy.
Really?
I can hear the solo in my mind. I'm not hearing the song. but it's on the album that has There I'll Be on it, and the joint would take
Gotcha.
6. But yeah, Livingston
Okay.
Taylor's crazy, James Taylor crazy, all of that, man. You got good ears, bro. You got good ears.
I try. So,
Yeah, man.
be blessed, be safe. All right, we'll stay in
love,
touch.
bro. Yes,
Love
sir.
you too. Thank you so much, man.
Could you not see me fangirling? I mean, like, you would have thought I was a Gen Zer at a Taylor Swift concert. I mean, it was all I could do to be still. It was a surreal moment. The only person I could thank is God. Thank you, Swoop, for sitting down to do the interview. But most importantly, thank the Lord, because like, it was God that set that up. That's the, if you message me like, Lindsay, how'd that happen? God, Jesus. That's the only, like, that's it. I'm not being cliche. No, it was the Lord, and the Lord is good, and I'm so thankful for him. I'm thankful for you watching the video. This is something that's very important to me, and I can't say enough. Listen, hey, while you're on the channel, subscribe to this channel. That way you can get notifications for when I put more videos up. I'm not one of those that wants, that just wants you to subscribe so you can fill my videos up with comments and likes and follows and all that. According to the algorithm, I gotta have that. But me personally, the reason I want you to subscribe is because I plan to put on more content, and I want you to see. I want you to be blessed with what the Lord blesses me. So thanks so much. Don't forget, follow, like, subscribe.